All right, so we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. But if you've been paying any attention at all, you know the entire map has just been completely blown up. So let's get into this massive creative reset that is reshaping, well, pretty much everything in pro wrestling.
And you know what? That is not an exaggeration. A series of events that honestly nobody saw coming has forced a total creative pivot, and it all starts with the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 42. What we all thought was set in stone, well, you can just throw that right out the window.
So, how in the world did we get here? Well, it really all comes down to one single moment, a single injury that set off a crazy chain reaction, completely rewriting the main events for WrestleMania. Let's break down how it all kind of fell apart and then came back together in a completely different way. This timeline really shows you just how fast everything went sideways. The Wrestling Observer is reporting that the plan was locked in, we were getting Rollins versus Reigns and Cody versus Punk. But then, bam, Seth Rollins goes down with that shoulder injury at Crown Jewel, and that forced an immediate audible. The original creative direction, gone, thrown right in the trash, leading to a total reshuffling of the deck. And this slide right here, wow, this really puts the scale of that change into perspective. So on the left, you've got the original plan. And look at that, Bron Breakker was supposed to get this massive push, winning the whole Royal Rumble. But now, in our new reality on the right, that huge spot goes to the veteran, Roman Reigns, who's now set to face CM Punk. And Cody Rhodes? He finds himself on a collision course with Drew McIntyre, who, by the way, reportedly campaigned hard for that spot. It is a totally, completely different main event picture now. But the WrestleMania pivot isn't the only major story shaking things up. We've seen some huge movement across the entire wrestling world. We're talking a massive signing for WWE and some really big questions surrounding the future of an absolute legend. Let's get right into it. Okay, first up, this is a huge get for WWE. Fightful Select has confirmed that the former AEW standout, the man we all knew as Powerhouse Hobbs, has officially signed on the dotted line. But you're not going to be hearing his old name anymore. He will now be known as Royce Keys. That's right, he's already been spotted backstage, and he's been officially assigned to the SmackDown roster. This is a huge, huge pickup for the Blue brand and a major statement of intent. So what's the plan for him? Well, SmackDown's GM, Nick Aldis, is apparently positioning Royce Keys as the quote-unquote ultimate equalizer. His whole mission is to be the muscle that can finally stand up to dominant factions like the Bloodline and the most feared trio. In that potential match you see at the bottom, Royce Keys versus Jacob Fatu, oh yeah, that is a hoss fight that fans are already dreaming about. Now shifting gears to a veteran whose future is suddenly really uncertain. Speculation around AJ Styles has been just running wild, and it really hit a fever pitch when Roman Reigns himself posted this simple but very powerful farewell message on social media. Now, a lot of people were worried this meant immediate retirement, especially after his absolute war with Gunther. But Fightful Select is reporting that another option is on the table, a Sayonara tour. Think of it like a final run, a series of big-time matches that lets a legend go out on his own terms. Right now, it's just a waiting game, but the entire wrestling world is hoping we haven't seen the last of the Phenomenal One. And in some other roster news, it's been confirmed that interviewer and announcer Kelly Kincaid, who was a really familiar face down on the NXT brand, has now departed from WWE. It's just another example of all the on-screen shifts that are happening as the company continues to evolve. Okay, let's turn our attention over to AEW, because a completely shocking result on Dynamite has put the world champion MJF in a very, very dangerous spot. A monster has been let off the leash, and he is coming straight for the gold. It just took one absolutely dominant performance. In a non-title match, Brody King didn't just beat the AEW World Champion MJF. He completely squashed him. I mean, it was decisive, it was stunning, and it was a brutal display that sent a massive shockwave through the entire company. And yeah, the consequences were immediate. With that win, Brody King has earned himself a shot at the AEW World title, and that match is now set for AEW's huge Grand Slam event down in Australia. I'm telling you, for the first time in a long, long time, MJF's reign looks like it's in legitimate, serious jeopardy. Of course, MJF, being MJF, was his typical defiant self backstage. In response to the crowd's reaction, he just leaned right into his whole persona, declaring that AEW is the listening company and that they won't censor their fans. But, no amount of talk can really change the fact that he just got dismantled in the middle of that ring.
Okay, for our final segment, let's do a little rapid-fire rundown of what's coming up on the global stage, from some must-see TV tonight to major updates coming out of Japan. Tonight's SmackDown is absolutely loaded as we build towards Elimination Chamber. We've got 2 huge triple threat qualifiers to see who gets a spot in the Chamber match itself. The women's tag titles are on the line. And maybe most importantly, we are finally going to find out who the Women's Royal Rumble winner Liv Morgan is targeting for her championship match at WrestleMania. Big night. And taking a quick look overseas, New Japan's Road to the New Beginning tour is officially underway. And a little shout out to Drilla Maloney, who's reportedly toughing it out through an injury. And meanwhile, over in Pro Wrestling Noah, their awesome junior tag league has just kicked off, with the teams of Daga and Odashima and Dragonbane and Alejandro being some early ones to keep an eye on. So that brings us all the way back to where we started, this completely rewritten road to WrestleMania. And it really leaves us with a huge question to think about. With all these changes, was the original plan actually better? Was the young powerhouse Bron Breakker robbed of his big star-making moment? Or is this new reality of Roman Reigns versus CM Punk simply the bigger, undeniable money match? It's definitely something to think about. This has been another way too real disaster.